Hey there, kiddos. In today's video, we are going to be going along the Inner Ward, otherwise known as 1-3 in our Demon Souls EZ walkthrough. So, for those of you who have not been following along with the series, I will link in the video as well as in the description my first video in the series, which basically tells you how to get endgame armor as well as a 25,000 plus soul head start for your game playthrough in Demon Souls. It's really convenient and awesome to use. Now, for those of you that have been following me along, or if this is just a level you want to try to get through, we are going to take on the Inner Ward. To get into the Inner Ward, you actually have to defeat an Archdemon first. We have already defeated the Dragon God in our playthrough, as well as the King of Storms. But we are going to head in here, and this is 1-3. So here in the Inner Ward, we are going to rescue a very important NPC, actually two important NPCs. My armor setup in the loadout I have is, of course, the endgame Ancient Kings set armor. I also have the +5 Dragon Longsword that we got from World 2, as well as the Thief's Ring. Those are the big ones to have. And, of course, you can have your magic wand as well as the Catalyst along with your magic spells. But we also have a Talisman of the Gods with Second Chance, just in case we get cheesed along the way. So you make your way into the first plaza here and take down the good boys that are just trying to do their job. I feel really bad about that, but that's all right. We will avenge them. And we're going to head up these stairs. Now watch out, because there will be a trap that is set into motion with that flaming cart with those flaming balls that come rolling down at you. Hot tamale style, just stand to the side and avoid it. And continue upwards, and you will see several soldiers as well as a fat official. This will, of course, trigger a cutscene, and the fat official is going to retreat. And he's basically going to be a very large antagonist for the entirety of this level. But he'll get his comeuppance, rest assured. So we got a couple of dudes ambushing, and you can just see the R2, the strong attack from my Dragon Longsword, deals significant amounts of damage. But here you can see that the soldiers are lining themselves up very nicely, so I switched to my Soul Ray with my Catalyst and am able to blow them up that way. It's just a matter of being observative and switching to what needs to be done for that part. And it was here that I realized, oh, I never bothered to cast Second Chance, so we're going to give you a chance to see that. As you can see, I'm going through and picking up the fresh spice, which replenishes magic points. And as you go in between levels, by the way, you're getting to a point now, if you've been following my walkthrough, that you're going to have a ton of souls left over to basically sit in your pool. So you can take the chance and play through levels and hope to get even more souls so you can level up a little bit faster. I tend to just cash out all my remaining souls with Patches the Hyena in the Nexus, and I pick up either Half Moon or Late Moon Grass, as well as these spice items which restore MP. There's going to be a lot of enemies that are humanoid here. They are going to drop a ton of grass items along the way, so it's a good way to farm up some healing items. Now, you can head down the stairs to the left, but that will incur a fight with Imperial spies. And they aren't really that bad, but they do have some pretty devastating combos if you get stuck in them, so I'm just going to avoid that whole section here. We're going to climb up the ladder, and we're going to make a hard right-hand turn. I'm going to heal up whenever necessary, just because there's going to be a series of areas where you're going to get crossbow bolts shot at you like that. And they don't really do devastating amounts of damage, but it can add up if you get chained with them. So here, he's going to take another shot. He's going to miss. I'm going to chop him down. We're going to head up the stairs. There's going to be another trap in the stairwell that we're about to go up, so be aware of that. And there's a couple of side alleys along the way where Imperial spies are also waiting for me to ambush, to get ambushed rather. And as you can see, one of the spies tried to run out there and got caught up in its own trap there from that side, that little alleyway. Nothing over in that way except for another spy waiting to jump out and make his appearance, but easily chopped down. Actually, that was a crossbowman, my fault there. And you can see they're dropping tons of Late Moon Grass, which is awesome. That's going to be pretty much our standard healing method going forward through the rest of the game. Another soldier, just like we handled before. This one actually gives me a hard time because they throw smoke bombs or fire bombs and they kick you pretty quickly. So if you feel uncomfortable fighting these guys, especially in such narrow corridors, don't be afraid to switch to the Soul Ray. Garbage shield, which means it was a trap. and there's a spy you can see that trying to hit me, and I'm trying to use the R1 attack and I'm getting caught up in the walls. That's probably a bad idea. With the Dragon Longsword, the R2, the strong attack, is a straightforward thrust. So if you're in a narrow corridor like that, you'll be able to still get the attack off, and it does way more damage anyway, so it's totally worth it. We're going to run around the mezzanine here. We'll get those crossbowmen in just a second. But as we round out, there's the first of, I believe, 2 Red Eye Knights here. And they're pretty easy to take down, and they stagger with the Dragon Longsword there. So you just wait for them to do their little combos. They're either going to do a big overhead slash or a 2 or 3 hit sideswipe combo like that. Just wait for them to finish, run up and smack them. You can use your Soul Rays and just keep kiting them, but they do take quite a bit of Soul Rays to defeat, unless you've been pumping up your magic stat. Another example of those Imperial Spies. They don't really drop anything. We are going to run up, and there's going to be a Fat Official here. Now, these Fat Officials in this level are a little different than the ones that we fought in Stonefang Tunnel, as well as also in this area, too. They are equipped with these giant halberd, bardish-style weapons, and they will do a ton of melee damage, so we need to be very careful. I think I got hit by one here. Yep, I poorly dodged there, and you can see it does quite a bit of damage, especially if it decides to combo. He still also does the same fire attacks that the Fat Officials do as well. And as you can see, the magic damage that I'm doing is okay, but not spectacular. Not as great as the Dragon Longsword, so it's worth getting up in his face and smacking him around. Now this Fat Official drops an Iron Key Ring. This is very important. We are going to rescue an NPC with this key ring, but that's going to come in just a little bit. We're going to do some backtracking in a second. More crossbowmen, again with the Dragon Longsword +5. It doesn't even matter what your stats are when you're taking on these guys, because the Dragon Longsword is flat physical and fire damage, and it's always going to be that way. So as long as you've leveled up to level 5 with it, +5, it's going to do that much damage regardless of what your stats are. So that's just, you know, a great way to get through this quickly, efficiently, easily, and spending all of your points more into vitality and endurance to taking those extra hits when needed. And here you can see there's just a lot of humanoid enemies here. It's very easy to get overwhelmed. Again, use those Soul Rays when they line up beautifully like this. It's great efficiency, and it's just really easy to kite them around in that straight line too. So don't be afraid to do that every once in a while if you need to. There you see another Imperial Spy doing fancy flips, and we're just going to chop him down. So thanks for playing, dude. One more Flame Boulder Trap. They sure do love these. It didn't work the first time. Bloody well isn't going to work the next 2 times, but whatever. And then he gets mad that I have looted his trap, so I shove a sword in him. Thanks for your trouble. Have a nice day. All right, we sped up just a little bit. We got another Red Eye Knight, and you're going to see me just throw the spells. Actually, the Soul Ray really does a ton of damage to these guys. So yeah, by all means, if you want to just hang back and bomb them with Soul Rays, go ahead. For some reason, I had the illusion that it didn't do as much damage as I thought, but I was wrong. And I haven't really been beefing up my magic stat at all in this playthrough. I think I'm at like maybe 20 or so, which is only like a few points more than what I started with as the royalty starter class. So it's good to have just so that you can have that ranged outlook. So if you're somebody who wants to be at a range more often than not, then yeah, beef up that magic stat so you can do more damage. But for me, I'm more of a baiting moves out. And plus I feel like waiting and playing more melee gets you just better at the game. But again, this is the easy walkthrough. So you want to make sure that, you know, if you want to do it as easily as possible, then just stay at range, keep bombing them with magic spells, and that'll get the job done very easily. We're rounding the corner here and heading down a stairwell. There's a couple more enemies that we'll have to deal with, but we will get to a huge shortcut checkpoint, and that will help us out immensely. And again, perfect lineup with the Soul Ray taking down 2 enemies at once. You just can't ask for it. There's a lot of these narrow style passageways, and combat here is frequent. And I think it's made that way just to dissuade people that are using large two-handed slashing weapons and things, because you tend to get caught up on the borders of the walls and the railings frequently. Once again, that fat official tags me, and instead I'm just going to stay at a distance. You can see he's using his fire spells to bomb me, but that's okay, no worries. I heal kind of through it. Quick rolls will win the day against these, and I just stood there and took that right in the face, and that's what happens when that happens. So you need to just keep moving side to side. He still does his belly rub followed by a giant fireball, which will do a ton of damage, but then you just kind of switch up. You try to get behind him if you can, but sometimes it works. Most often than not it doesn't, but that's okay. They stagger when you hit them, so you just keep hauling off on them until they drop. Now, this one dropped an official's cap. If you've been following the walkthrough series, I've picked up every piece of official's wear at this point. And that is going to be imperative for when we rescue our second NPC in this level. So I'm going to speed things up because we're going to backtrack all the way back to the Archstone, and we're going to rescue our first NPC. Okay, so we've went back past the Tower Knight Archstone, and we are just kind of waiting for this Blue-Eyed Knight to fight, but he's really weak. He's from 1-2, so he has that scaled stats for that, so it's just trivial for us. But the door to the right here is what is open with the Iron Key Ring. I believe I've tried to open that door to show you in a previous walkthrough for 1-2. But yeah, you can actually open that door with the Iron Key Ring. It brings you down into the Lord's Path dungeon, and from here we are going to rescue Bjor of the Two Fangs. The Twin Fangs. So there is a fat official standing here that we need to combat with. And again, he hits me with his Bardish, which is annoying. And it's always important when you're dealing with an enemy throwing projectiles that you put a little bit of barrier between yourself and them so that they hit the pillar, for example, in this case. And I just kind of tumble, let him do his attacks, and just keep stabbing away at him until he drops. And now he's going to drop a bloody iron key. This is what we need to rescue the second NPC. So we have opened this first cell door. We're grabbing some items, soul consumables, which is very important. And then in this cell here is where Bjor is just kind of chilling. So we're going to pop the cell door open, talk to him. He's going to thank us profusely for killing that bloated sluggard. Thank you, Bjor of the Twin Fangs. And Bjor is actually going to... he doesn't offer you up a reward, and he just kind of falls asleep. And he is pretty much like the blueprint for Siegward and Siegmeyer of Katarina. For those of you who are Dark Souls fans, he just kind of does the mission and then just falls asleep. But he's actually going to give us a lot of assistance later on in this level, and then again when we return at the end of the game when we do 1-4. So Crystal Lizard there to pick up some items. Here is a huge weight thing. It's just a tower shield. So if you're into collecting everything, that's where that is. And now we're going to speed things up again and return back to 1-3 proper, and we will rescue our second NPC. So I'm going to speed things up to get through all the other collectibles I grab, and then we will go ahead and continue on with the walkthrough. All right, and we've re-entered the inner ward, and now on this right side, there's this little side hallway that we are going to run through, and this is what opens with the Bloody Iron Key. And we are going to make our way to a tower off to the side of the map. But before we do that, we're actually going to equip the entire official's armor set. And the reason why we do this is there is going to be a fat official in an inaccessible area in the tower. But if we're dressed like a fat official, he thinks we're one of them, and he will help lower a staircase that will get us to where we need to go to save the other NPC. So I make my way through the winding hallways here, do a couple of tumbles, see doors closed, etc. You just kind of keep running. I believe there's an illusory wall somewhere around here where the added Penetrator's armor set is located, but that's for a walkthrough of another day. But right here we go into this large tower here. We use the Bloody Iron Key a second time, and now we're in the essentially the prison cell for Yuria the Witch. So we're going to run up the stairs here, and we will come up to that fat official who will lower the stairwell for us. And as you can see here, he has lowered it for us so we can run up, and we can have our way with this dude, and we're just going to stab him right in the back because he can, and it's fun. He falls down. He doesn't drop anything of very high note, I don't think. But once you do defeat him, you get that achievement, like I show there, which in the tower. That is what you receive when you rescue Yuria. You pick up a Ring of the Accursed and a Ring of Magical Sharpness, I think that was. But 2 important rings as well if you're looking to get that All Rings achievement. And it's important that you re-equip the old armor set. Stay away from the official's cap, because Yuria won't talk to you otherwise. She just kind of scoffs and dismisses you. For the record, Yuria, ultimate waifu of Demon Souls, don't at me. And from there, you've rescued her. She will meet you in the Nexus, and she's going to give us a really strong spell. There's actually a couple spells she's really known for, but we're going to pick up one in particular that's going to make another level, as I do that in this walkthrough, much, much simpler. But for now, we're going to backtrack again up the stairwell we came from and where we were to finish off this level. So let's go ahead and speed things up. All right, now we have returned back to where we were as far as the forward progress of this level goes. We're going to bust through these barriers, and there's going to be another huge, small platoon of soldiers waiting for us that we're going to have to deal with. If you have a ton of MP recovering items, you're more than welcome to just bomb them with soul arrows from afar or soul rays. I tend to just hang back and keep snacking them, but sometimes they're a little bit dangerous if you do it that way, so just be aware of that. And there you go. They're lined up in a nice straight line. You burn them twice, they drop. It's very convenient. And you can always use this narrow choke point as well in case you want to just drag more of them back here, because we are going to face off against 3 Red-Eye Knights all at the same time. Yes, you heard that right. It's actually the hardest part in this level as far as I'm concerned, because if you're not careful, they can combo you and easily murder you, and then you have to start all over again. But at least we have that shortcut drawbridge unlocked. We are going to get one more cutscene where the fat official, that one is still alive, I guess, and he's going to run into the boss gate. So once again, there's 4 more of these dudes just hanging around in here. I think I try to switch things up to the soul ray since they're all cluttered. Oh, I should have by now because they're just asking for it. Pardon me. There you go. So just kind of smack them around a little bit. And now we have our 3 Red-Eye Knights. Oh, we have one more crossbow boltman. My bad. I should have kept firing soul rays here, but I just stab him. Now, these Red-Eye Knights, they run really fast, and they come straight at you. And they also have their shields up more often than not, so they are very hard to get damage through. So what I do here is eventually they're all going to close the gap on me. I'm going to just tumble away from them and just say, all right, screw that, and run away. You're more than welcome to just bolt past them as well. Just make sure you tumble at the right time because they can stun lock you. Dart up the stairs, and then we go into the fog gate where we meet our boss fight, the very aptly named and not at all sexual Penetrator. Just in case you were wondering why they call him the Penetrator. That's why. Alright, so the Penetrator fight. This fight is pretty straightforward since we've released Bjor. And in all honesty, Bjor can probably solo Penetrator. We could just kind of stand by and let Bjor do his thing, and he can actually take down the Penetrator for us. That is a charged thrusting attack, and that will count as a grab, and it does massive damage. Penetrator is actually a really hard fight without Bjor, because all of his attacks have weird timings. There's that throw I mentioned. It does a ton of damage and throws him across the map. So he's going to turn our attention to us now. They have a lot of range. It's very scary how fast he can attack. And as you can see, the magic attacks I do don't really do a whole lot of... Look at all the ground he covers. Does a whole lot of damage, so it's better just to stick with the fire damage and just kind of wait for him to aggro Bjorn and then R2 him. But what's going to happen is Bjorn's going to get tagged with the throw one more time. And then I just kind of walk up and just kill him from there. And that's the fight. Penetrator can be the hardest fight in the game, but he can also be the easiest. And this is why I think he's my number 2 hardest boss in the game. Just because if you have Bjorn, it trivializes the whole fight. And that's the point, because this is an easy walkthrough. And then Bjorn gets all excited, happy that he helped out. And you will see him again in 1-4, but that is for another video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to be notified when I post additional content. Also, if you'd like to support me further, you're welcome to join me both on Twitch and Discord. I'll leave links to both in the description below. So until then, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.